Here we go. Hello, and welcome to the St. Louis Green Business Challenge Virtual Brown Bag for Thursday, February 4th, 2021. This is edition number 35 of Virtual Brown Bag in the long haul. It's also the third program for our 2021 challenge year. This is the 12th year of the Green Business Challenge. I'm Jean Ponzi. I'm the program manager of the challenge. Get my screen share going here so that you can see what's up with our program today. Very, very happy to welcome Renew Missouri back to the challenge to give us an update on commercial solar incentives. Some very good news in the area of commercial solar incentives, and Andrew Linhares will be presenting for us today from Renew Mo. And I am thrilled to be able to confirm that Graybar has re-upped as presenting sponsor of the Green Business Challenge. Every year of the program, Graybar Electrical has been the presenting sponsor, the primary supporter of this effort to help businesses of all kinds, all sizes, for-profit, nonprofit, and the business of local government green up the kinds of day-to-day operations that are common to us all. Thank you so much, Graybar Electric, presenting sponsor of the 2021 challenge. We are communicating with our sponsors from 2020, want to still give them a shout out. Ameren Missouri, Citizens for Modern Transit, Ride Finders, and Missouri American Water, and hope to be able to confirm these relationships for the new year very shortly. Continuing support for the Green Cities Challenge, Madison County, Illinois, for the communities within their jurisdiction, 1STL, our regional sustainability plan, and the Metro chapter, Missouri and Illinois, of the American Planning Association. Thank you for this support for Green Cities Challenge. Anything having to do with recycling is supported by the St. Louis Jefferson Solid Waste Management District and the Missouri Department of Natural Resources. Registration is opening next week, February 15th. We will send a link to register in next week's e-news. It should be a simple process. You can register online using Visa or MasterCard or Discover. If you need to have an invoice sent or prefer or need to pay by American Express, that will be a communication that we need to have with you on a one-to-one basis. But Challenge 2021 registration is opening up next week. Yay! Looking forward to a strong year here this year. Hello, there you are, little arrow. And coming up on Virtual Brown Bag, some exciting programs. It is so much fun and so rewarding to be able to present these short programs to you each week. Next week, Sarah Amon, the original leader of the PGAV Green Team, returns. I believe this will be her third presentation for Virtual Brown Bag. She is a designer with an eye towards sustainability, and she's going to be talking about using humor in design and communications. What's so funny about the stuff we do? On the 18th of February, Danielle Corman of the Blackbird Foundation will present the results of a food waste audit that they have completed for University City. I'll be hearing those results tomorrow night as a guest of the U-City Sustainability Commission. Danielle will be presenting what they did, why they did it, what they learned, and I believe there will be some transferable opportunities here for us to do in our companies if you'd like to engage your employees or constituents around food waste reduction for 2021. Also, we will be announcing a little later in the spring a regional food waste messaging campaign, a cousin to Recycle Responsibly, that regional messaging campaign. Again, another very strong area of engagement for us all. On February 25th, be my pleasure to introduce you to Katie Fechter. She's the program manager for the Creve Coeur Green Business Program. Specifically, within Creve Coeur, very primarily focused on recycling with funding from St. Louis County Department of Public Health. This is a program that is working with businesses of all kinds and is especially making inroads to commercial property managers. And then on March 4th, Javen Solomon, an artist of note in St. Louis, will be presenting his Lutopia project. On March 11th, the Mississippi River Cities and Towns Initiative, a community science engagement process around plastic. And we will announce next week our formal kickoff seminar for Challenge 2021, which is coming up on March 18th. So watch your e-news. We try to keep it short. We send it out each week. Links to register for all of these programs are in the e-news. And if you have an idea for a program you'd like to propose, please do not hesitate to send it our way. And as soon as I find my little green arrow down here again, there we are. Renew Missouri. Commercial Solar Incentives for 2021. Andrew Linhares, Regional Director and Senior Counsel, is here with us today. And without further ado, Andrew, I'm going to turn it over to you to share your screen. I know you'll have contact information in your presentation. Folks, please type your questions in the chat, and we will address them. I will be monitoring them, and we will address them. Andrew Linhares, welcome back to Virtual Brown Bag.
Thank you so much, Jean. And I will go ahead and share my screen here now. There we go. Can everybody see that?
Yep, we can.
Okay. Enter full screen.
Yep.
Okay. So for whatever reason, it's not going full screen. That's all right.
There you go.
Okay, so thank you for having me back. I think some of you know me or have seen me talk about this program before, but it's useful to go back over it. Our program is called Renew STL Solar, and it's a commercial solar group buy program. It's available for all non-residential buildings in the St. Louis region. But first, here's a little bit about who we are. So we are, Renew Missouri is a statewide clean energy advocacy group. We work at the PSC, we work at the legislature, we work, with the city of St. Louis, and we have an office in Kansas City as well. I run our St. Louis office, and I'm an attorney, and Tori Cheatham, who's on the presentation as well. She is our policy and outreach coordinator in the St. Louis office. So we do all things renewable energy and energy efficiency. And sometime last year, maybe the very beginning of 2020 or 2019, we were approached by Phil Valco at WashU, Office of Sustainability, about doing a Solarize program for the commercial market. Solarize is this group buy concept that has been done by Grow Solar and the Madison County Solarize program in Illinois. Essentially, what it is you put a bunch of projects together to achieve a high economy of scale and buy down the cost of equipment. Everybody saves by kind of going in together. And there's never really been a program for the commercial market. So we agreed to take this project on. We got everything spun up. We got our website ready to go, and COVID hit. And so our program in 2020 kind of failed to take off, but that gave us a chance to retool and figure out really where we wanted to take this program. And we've done a lot of thinking and honing in, and now we have our program launched and ready to go. And we're attracting some really big clients already. So I think throughout the year, you'll be seeing us announce some big partners, corporate, municipal, large institutions that are going to be going through our program. So happy to talk about this all with you. As the slide shows, we selected Straight Up Solar as our provider. They're gonna be handling all of the estimates and the installations and the maintenance and stuff like that. And we, Renew Missouri, are administering the program. Meaning we're doing a lot of the outreach, presentations like this. We're also helping folks track their sustainability and things like that. So here's the brief overview of the program. Over on the right there, you'll see sort of the demographics of who we think should be interested in this program. We can do solar PV, rooftop solar. We can do battery storage as well, and we can do EV charging infrastructure, all three of which have current federal or utility incentives, rebates and incentives. So this program, first and foremost, wants to deliver financial savings, but it also aims to simplify the whole process, demystify the whole process, all the incentives involved, and make it a streamlined approach for you. We also want to offer you some public recognition and celebrate your sustainability efforts. We want to help you track progress towards sustainability goals. And then we want to support this effort to build an equitable job development movement in our region. And I'll talk about that at the end. So as I said, financial savings, this is going to be what most of your companies and what most people care about. And it is the most exciting part of it, due to the huge decrease in commercial solar that we've seen just in the last decade here. The key metric, most people want to know what the payback is, like how many years your investment is going to pay back. And we can deliver that for you. If you get in touch with us, we can give you all sorts of stuff. We can look at it any number of ways. But the primary metric we think is this levelized cost of energy number. And essentially, what price are you paying per kilowatt hour? And then you compare that to your retail rate over 25 or 30 years, the conservative estimate for the life of a system. And that's going to be your savings. And the reason that is because the reason this is the better way to look at it is because most people are going to be financing their systems. They're not going to be paying cash. In fact, a lot of businesses don't pay anything up front, and they invest in the system. It delivers them savings that more than pays for the loan to be serviced. So you're in the black right from day one. That is the ideal situation. So our program, in addition to that commercial solar financial savings, we have this program volume discount available for you. You can see this chart down here. We want to be able to offer you a little cash back if you can get people to come into the program and make it more successful. So if we get over 1.5 megawatts, you'll see we can offer up to like 2% cash back to you. That's a way to incentivize participants to proliferate the program, go sing it from the mountaintops. So we also are working with financial partners. So there's a number of models that people are going to be interested in here. You know, like buying a car, or like buying a house, the more money you put down, the less you have to finance. So that's always going to be like the way to make your money back the fastest. But during COVID, especially, people are having trouble coming up with that initial investment. So we want to offer a number of ways to do no money down or very little money down. We're working with Electro Savings Credit Union, which is like a traditional 5-year loan, interest only payments for a year. That's a really good option for most people. There's also property assessed clean energy, which is this local government and state law hybrid, where you can essentially avoid the upfront costs, and then there's an assessment placed on your property taxes. And the idea is that the savings from your clean energy investment, in this case solar, would more than pay back your property tax assessment. So it's a cash flow positive proposition. We also have a lease model. CleanView Capital is a company we've been working with, and that allows you to avoid the upfront cost. You don't have any debt. You're paying a lease over a number of years until the title transfers to you when the expense is paid off. So these are all models that really we're trying to find as many options as possible for you to, for us to get you that savings without you having to dig and come up with new budget. Okay, beyond the financial savings, which is number one, we also want to make sure that we're simplifying this process for you. Renew Missouri and Straight Up Solar together, between us, we really think there's no reason that you need to agonize over this or feel like it's a commitment of your time to figure it out. And given that many of you are the green team members of your organizations, we want to arm you with as much stuff to be able to go to your decision maker or your leadership and say, hey, this is a really good value proposition. We can get all these incentives, and the install company's ready to go. There's not, it's all upside, and there isn't a lot of things for us to figure out or customize. Here's a little table of the available incentives: 25 cents a watt installation, or so if you're going to get 1 megawatt, which is, like think of a really big warehouse out in Earth City, right? So this is, I'd say, like 1/8 of the cost right now, something like that, more or less. There's also 50% per customer EV charging station rebate. Okay, so that comes from the Ameren as well. And then there is this federal investment tax credit, which this is new stuff since the stimulus bill. It's back up at 26%, which is very, very attractive for a lot of businesses with tax equity. So that's something for you to consider. If you've got a lot of tax equity, you can invest in a solar system. 26% tax credit is yours, as well as for battery storage. And we can talk about battery storage if you have questions, but for people with really large electricity loads and reliability concerns, like you need that resiliency, battery storage is a really good option. Okay, so we've talked about financial savings. We've talked about simplifying the process. We also want to get you some good PR and celebrate your company. We want to be able to give you awards and publicize your participation in this region-wide effort. So that's the idea. We plan to give awards to like the most outstanding customer in each of these areas. We have these 3 levels that you can reach: the terawatt, the gigawatt, the megawatt level, depending on the percentage of power that you avoid through your system. And we also are working on earned media. We have got some contacts with St. Louis Business Journal and the Post and other statewide papers. If this is a value to you, we can stress this more or less, right? So if this is attractive to you, make sure to mention that when we talk, and we can think of ways to make this work for you. In addition, sustainability goals are rising in prominence among the corporate class here in this country, and you know, the Renewable Energy Buyers Alliance. There's a little graphic there. You can see some of the premier brands that now have extremely robust and rigorous sustainability targets, including for renewable energy. So if you guys are if you do have articulated sustainability goals or objectives, we can help you calculate, you know, anything from your tons of CO2 avoided over a time period to, you know, the equivalencies in number of trees planted, the carbon offset for that, or number of cars taken off the road. Any type of metric like that, we can help you calculate and chart out into the future. Again, for that sort of public facing part, if you want to articulate your progress, we can help with all that sort of stuff. And this is the part that I would like to dwell on a little bit, for a little bit. So we really want this program to have a regional collective feel of it, reinvesting in the St. Louis region. And this is an opportunity for businesses to not only be recognized for doing that, but to actually be supporting equitable job development in the region, right? A couple things to note about the solar technology. I believe from 2015 to the present, solar panel installer and wind turbine technician are 2 of, if not the 2 fastest growing job professions in the country. And the St. Louis region has lagged in solar especially. And that's for a lot of reasons. That's because of statewide policy, first and foremost. But it's also just because we don't have the types of businesses that are relocating here, like the large data farms and Silicon Valley companies and things like that, that really value this. Anheuser-Busch highly values sustainability, and the utility here would not offer them a serviceable way to get their renewable energy. So they went and signed virtual PPAs from wind farms in Oklahoma. We would like our big powerhouse companies to be serving their electricity needs with local energy, local renewables, in order to invest in the workforce here. So the only reason I'm calling out that St. Louis has lagged in this area is because it's important to note that we are due for a renaissance here. These are permanent jobs. These are high quality, high paying, high tech jobs. They can't be exported because it's a installation job locally. And it really can be a part of the equitable job development in our region. You guys, I'm sure, are familiar with the Greater St. Louis Inc. effort that has been going on recently. These 5 regional development nonprofits have combined into one, as of the first of the year. And their 2030 jobs report that came out recently the primary conclusion, the primary thrust of it is focusing on inclusive economic growth. So that means not just attracting a new job sector to locate here in St. Louis, but to have a greater percentage, maybe an overlooked percentage of our population taking part in these jobs. And we think that solar is a primary area to focus there, because the training is actually quite quick, and a lot of it is on the job training. This solar workforce development pilot program in the city of St. Louis, we've had the first round of that now, and it was successful. Straight Up Solar, Renew Missouri and Straight Up Solar both participated in this, and Straight Up Solar has now has several interns that have graduated from this program and are working. But the key thing to notice here, the key thing that we need people to kind of grapple with and take action on is, for this to be successful,
Yes.
we need solar demand. We need solar projects to be happening, and we need them sort of to happen in waves all at once. If there's demand for solar, then the graduates of these sorts of workforce development programs will have jobs to go into, and then the next wave of them can follow after them. So demand for solar is really what we need to make the whole thing. That's the keystone to make all of this stuff work. And we want to be working with Greater St. Louis Inc. In this inclusive economic growth model. And I think solar can play a huge part, and your corporations can play a huge part in this. If you've considered solar in the past and you just haven't jumped because the policies were up in the air and they didn't look like, it looked like something might change, and you delayed it, or you just didn't have the time to look at this, or you couldn't get your leadership's ear, well, this might be a good time to re-examine all of those and see if we can get something done. And if we can all kind of jump together, we will create a meaningful uptick in installations, and I think really have an impact on workforce development in the region. So, okay, so that is my basic spiel. I'm happy to entertain questions from you all. The most important thing is that you know to reach out to me and or someone from Straight Up Solar, but happy to have it go through me, and we can set up getting you a free estimate. It's worth looking at, even if you've looked at it in the past and you decided it wasn't worth it. We may be able to run some new numbers for you, especially because of the new ITC, because of this new program. The economics may be different, and it might be just worth it to see what sort of picture we can put together for you. We can work with you on financing. We can work with you on the whole thing. So please don't hesitate. You can reach out to me at andrew@renewmo.org or at Tori@renewmo.org, and we'll put something together. Let's see, who is on from Straight Up Solar?
I know we have Eric Schneider.
Eric, great. Okay,
and
so
I
we worked
believe
with
Aaron Noble is here also, I think.
And Aaron, great. Right, so Straight Up Solar is really good about this. Their commercial solar team is very experienced. They can run all sorts of analyses for you and numbers, different ways of looking at the financial side of it. And they, as we said earlier, they can integrate batteries, they can integrate EV charging, all sorts of things like that. So I really just encourage you to not be shy and reach out, and we'll see what we can do for you. But the main thing to understand here is this is a regional effort. We want to all see what we can do to move together in order to really make this workforce development side of things and sustainability side of things and financial side of things all work together. So happy to entertain some questions. Anybody have anything for me?
I do have a question, Andrew. I don't see any in the chat yet. This is Jean Ponzi. In Grow Solar, which was originally called Solarize, you used both of those terms at the beginning, the residential solar program. The mechanism for outreach is power hours, which are public events. They would have been in local brew pubs, except we're not at that point yet. Is this your primary method of getting the word out, or is there a video on the RenewMo Solar website? that can give people this kind of information. We will be circulating throughout the Challenge Network a link to this presentation on YouTube, but just say a little bit about your get the word out methodology, efficiencies of that, opportunities for that.
Yeah, so that's a great question. We don't have a primary method of outreach. We're doing a hodgepodge. Like with Grow Solar, they do this this power hour thing, which anybody can come to. They're really working with a narrow demographic, right? It's that residential home with the slanted asphalt roof. It's kind of one size fits all. Not exactly, but ours is far less one size fits all. It's everybody from the small business all the way to the massive industrial warehouse, to hospitals and whatnot. So we are trying to use every channel available to us. And sorry, let me stop sharing here.
There you go.
We're trying to use every channel available. I'm making a lot of presentations like this. I'm working with regional chambers. We have local government partners, some of the municipalities, St. Louis City and others.
Great.
So yeah, so the main thing is getting in front of folks like yourselves and setting up conversations.
Great. Couple of specific questions here. Have any companies used business district incentives to help pay for installations?
Good question. I don't know the answer to that. I don't think so. Eric might know otherwise, but as far as the local business district efforts and stuff, I mean, the incentives available for solar come from the utility and they come from the federal government right now. We don't have state incentives except for the net metering, which is available to everybody, that lets you sell your excess energy back to the grid. So yeah, that's my answer there. There's another question from Brian Ferris at Curium. What age of roof would not be a fit for solar? So I would say it's a middle ground that is bad. If it's a new roof, that's a really good thing. If it's an old roof, that's also a good thing because you probably due for a replacement, and that's a great time to do solar because you can wrap the costs together. And I would say, there's ways to get around it. I mean, solar it'll pay you back under 10 years for sure, almost not depending who you are, and usually far less than 10 years. But you'd like it to be there for the 30 years or so. So, and I'm sure Straight Up Solar could give you a much more specific answer depending on the specific roof.
Brian's question also from Curium, how does the lease to own option work?
Good question. So that is Cleanview Capital. That's our partner. They have a business program that essentially they come up with I can share the graphics and the fact sheet with you, but they come up with a lease rate, and that lease rate is intended to pay the system off on, I believe, like 7 or 9 years or something like that, and afterwards you own it. But Brian, if that's attractive, you think, to your leadership or to your company, let's have a specific conversation about that, and I can lay the whole thing out. I can get our Cleanview Capital partners on the line as well.
Andrew, for the federal tax, 26% federal tax credit, how many years of tax returns can you spread that over, for making this attractive, for example, to a company that has a low tax appetite?
I might have to defer to Eric on that one. I actually don't know how many years. I mean, I think a lot of people end up using a lot of it the first year. There's we also have a lot of folks that work with tax equity partners. A lot of those tax credits end up getting sold, monetized by people who trade and sell tax equity. So that's a whole industry within itself. But Eric, I don't know if you want to throw in the chat the specific answer. 5 years, he says.
Okay, great. Back 1 year and ahead 5 years. That's good to know. And I think we've got just another moment here. What can you say anything about the possibility of a for-profit company investing in a solar installation on the structure of on the property of a nonprofit company, and how the economics of that works?
A for-profit company investing in a system owned by a
Yeah, yeah.
nonprofit company?
My
Yes,
building of Missouri Botanical Garden has a system that was actually paid for and then sold to the garden for $1 by Express Scripts.
yes. So we are very interested in that format. In particular, if you're a nonprofit institution and you have that partner ready to go, that's really good. Otherwise, we can help you strategize about that. But the value there is a nonprofit company that doesn't have that tax liability able to absorb and monetize the ITC, right? So that's a three-way arrangement there that people have used as a way to get around that problem. And we're very interested in finding a model for that can work with this program.
Great. Well, we have renewable energy goals that the city of St. Louis has established. There, as you said, Andrew, there are increasingly companies in our Green Business Challenge network in our area that are preparing sustainability reports. Sustainability, a big underpinning of CSR, you know, fortuitous timing for what we're doing here with the movement to prioritize sustainability and things like climate action in the global business community. Last quick question from Brian Ferris at Curium. Is the solar available to install on ground also, or just rooftop mounts?
Yeah, okay, great question. Yes, definitely. Ground mount solar systems are possibilities if you've got the space, right? And I don't think there's too much difference in terms of the install price there. I mean, I think it might actually be cheaper in some circumstances. The requirement really, if you're going to net meter, is that it has to be located near your, on your premises and be serving your meter and your meter only. And right now, the Missouri net metering statute allows up to 100 kW, which for a building like Curium is not really that much. So that's how much you can have net metered, like your excess production can be sent back and monetized to the utility. But you can also have much far bigger systems just behind the meter. So depending on how constant your load is, you may really not need to be net metered for the whole system. And also, yeah, so that's the quick answer to that.
Great. And I'm going to throw one more quick question your way, and then we're going to end. We're a couple minutes over, but I'm assuming that the cost of the system and the structure of the system is also going to include a grid intertie so that there is grid backup, unless a facility wanted to invest in battery backup.
Right. Even if you're investing in battery backup, you're always going to be grid tied. Right. And I think if you have a net metering arrangement, that's what's going on, is you're drawing from the grid when you're not producing enough, and you're putting onto the grid when you're overproducing. And yes, I mean, there's almost no circumstance where you would want to island yourself and become a self-sufficient. I mean, some people are interested in that for whatever reason, but the grid is always there as backup. Yes.
Well, I can think of one challenge business, VeloFix, the mobile bike repair in a Mercedes Sprinter. That could have been one of those rolling islands. We've had that kind of business in the Green Business Challenge because we are open to businesses of every kind and every size.
It's very cool. Don't get me wrong. It's just, yeah.
Andrew Linhares of Renew Missouri, thank you very much for your leadership on this. Thanks for presenting to us today for the Green Business Challenge virtual brown bag. Thanks to everyone who has come, and we will be circulating a link to this presentation along with links to other presentations in our Challenge e-news. If you have any questions about Challenge 2021, you're welcome to send them to us. Watch your e-news next week as registration opens. We look forward to a strong year of greening our regional economy and saving money and collaborating around sustainability. I'm Jean Ponzi for the Green Business Challenge. Thanks to Renew Missouri. Thanks to you.